There are people who move through chaos as if it were shallow water. While voices rise, deadlines tighten, and emotions spill into the room, they remain steady. Not distant, not cold, just calm. And if you've ever stood near someone like that, you may have felt it yourself, a quiet question forming in your chest. How are they doing this? Because their calm does not feel forced. It doesn't feel rehearsed. It doesn't even feel like control. It feels like gravity, subtle, constant, unshaken.
When was the last time you noticed calm, without mistaking it for silence? Not the kind that avoids conflict, but the kind that seems to absorb it. The kind that doesn't rush to explain itself. The kind that listens longer than it speaks, and speaks only when something real has settled inside. Psychologists have long observed that calmness is rarely about what someone does in a moment of stress. It is about what they are no longer doing long before the stress arrives. Always calm people are not constantly managing their emotions. They are living in a different relationship with them. You may think they don't feel things as deeply, but often the opposite is true. They feel everything, and that is precisely why they move carefully. Think about how most emotional reactions begin. Not with the event itself, but with the story that immediately follows it. A look becomes an insult. A delay becomes rejection. A mistake becomes a verdict on who you are. The always calm mind pauses at the edge of that story, not because it is wiser in a dramatic way, but because it has learned, slowly, quietly, that not every thought deserves belief. Some thoughts are weather. They pass through, make noise, darken the sky for a moment, and leave. When was the last time you allowed a feeling to exist without asking it to justify itself, without turning it into a conclusion, without handing it the authority to define the entire moment? Calm people do this instinctively. They let emotions arrive as signals, not commands. Anger becomes information, not identity. Fear becomes a sensation, not a prophecy. There is a subtle confidence in this, not the loud confidence of certainty, but the quiet confidence of patience, the belief that clarity does not need to be rushed. You see this in everyday moments. Someone cuts them off in traffic, and they exhale instead of accelerating the story. A message goes unanswered, and they resist the urge to fill the silence with meaning. A plan collapses, and instead of scrambling to regain control, they sit with the discomfort of not knowing what comes next. To the outside world, this looks like emotional strength. Inside, it feels more like emotional humility, because calmness often begins when you stop insisting that every moment must make sense immediately. When you stop demanding resolution from experiences that are still unfolding. Psychologists sometimes describe this as emotional differentiation, the ability to feel something without becoming it. But lived from the inside, it feels simpler. It feels like space. Always calm people have more space between stimulus and response, not because they trained themselves to delay, but because they no longer crowd that space with urgency. Urgency is exhausting. It tells you that if you do not react now, something will be lost forever. Calm people have learned, often through pain, that most things are not lost by waiting, and many things are lost by rushing. There is also something else at work here, a different relationship with control. When you observe someone who remains calm under pressure, you may assume they feel in control of the situation. But listen closely, and you'll notice something quieter. They are comfortable with not being in control.
They understand, perhaps without ever saying it, that control is a fragile illusion. You can guide, influence, prepare, but you cannot command outcomes without cost. So, instead of gripping life tightly, they rest their hands more lightly. They respond rather than react. They adapt rather than resist. This does not mean they are passive. It means they are selective. They choose where to place their energy, and more importantly, where not to. Have you noticed how much emotional exhaustion comes from trying to manage what other people think, feel, or do? From replaying conversations, from rehearsing explanations no one asked for, from defending yourself against judgments that may never arrive. Always calm people step out of this invisible courtroom, not because they believe they are above judgment, but because they no longer volunteer to be on trial. Their sense of self is quieter, less dependent on immediate validation, less threatened by misunderstanding. This is why their calm can feel unsettling to others. It does not mirror panic. It does not escalate drama. It refuses to dance to the rhythm of urgency. In emotional situations, humans often seek resonance. We want others to feel what we feel at the same intensity in the same moment. Calm people break that pattern. They listen without absorbing. They care without collapsing. They stay present without surrendering their center. This is not detachment, it is groundedness.
You may have noticed that calm people are rarely in a hurry to explain themselves. They trust that clarity reveals itself over time, that being misunderstood for a moment is not a catastrophe. When was the last time you allowed yourself to be temporarily unclear, to not correct every assumption, to not rush toward being seen the right way? There is a deep peace that comes from realizing you do not need to manage the entire narrative of your life in real time. Always calm people live from that realization. They also have a different relationship with time. Stress compresses time. Everything feels urgent, immediate, now or never. Calm expands time. It creates the feeling that there is room to breathe, room to respond, room to change your mind. Neurologically, this matters. When the nervous system perceives safety, the brain gains access to perspective. When it perceives threat, it narrows. Calm people are not constantly telling their nervous system that something is wrong. They are not scanning every interaction for danger. They are not interpreting discomfort as disaster. This does not mean they have lived easier lives. Often, it means they have lived through enough difficulty to recognize what truly requires alarm and what does not. Their calm is informed by experience, by mistakes that taught them the cost of panic, by conflicts that showed them how little clarity emerges in the heat of reaction. There is also compassion here, not just for others, but for themselves. They do not punish themselves for feeling unsettled. They do not shame themselves for emotional waves. They allow the nervous system to move through its cycles without judgment. This is why their calm feels human, not rigid. It bends, it breathes, it recovers. And perhaps the most overlooked habit of all is this: always calm people do not see emotions as problems to solve. They see them as experiences to be witnessed. Sadness does not demand fixing. Anger does not require justification. Fear does not need to be erased. Once an emotion is fully seen, it often softens on its own. When you stop arguing with your inner weather, the storm loses its audience. This does not happen overnight. It emerges slowly as trust builds between you and your own mind, as you learn that you can survive discomfort without needing to escape it. And over time, something subtle shifts.
You begin to notice that calm is not something you achieve. It is something that remains when you stop interfering, when you stop feeding every thought, when you stop rehearsing every outcome, when you stop confusing intensity with importance. Calm people are not unbothered by life. They are deeply engaged with it, just not at war with it. They understand that peace is not the absence of noise, but the ability to hear it without losing yourself. And if you listen closely, you may realize something surprising. Their calm is not meant to impress you. It is not a performance. It is an invitation. An invitation to slow the inner dialogue, to loosen the grip, to trust that not everything needs your immediate reaction to be real. Because beneath the chaos, beneath the urgency, beneath the stories you rush to tell yourself, there is a quieter intelligence at work, and it has been waiting patiently.